and that's why we are hosting this tournament. So there are Finno-Ugric teams from 4 nations. There's Russia, Finno-Ugric, Russia team that is collected from Finno-Ugric parts of Russia. And then there's Estonia, Hungary, and of course Finland is playing. Yesterday it was very exciting day. At least matches were pretty even, as you can see here. These are yesterday's results. Finno-Ugric Russia took first victory with 2 points, 11 points to 13.5 points. And as you can see, Estonia's strong couple first boards made a good job to give Estonia a good lead on first boards, but in the middle Russia strikes back and gets a lot of victories. Table boards 8 to 13 every single game, working for Russian team. So that was how it went. And how did it go for Finland? It went well as well, since Finland managed to beat Hungary 13.5 to 11.5. Close match. This one was very exciting, very exciting. We were following these games at our stream, and there was a lot of happening on boards, and in the end it all came down to final game, which was, I guess it was Laihonen against Pubic. If Hungary wins that game, it's even, but it happens that Petteri won that game, and so Finland got also first victory. But today is a new day, and today Finland is playing against Estonia, and Finno-Ugric Russia meets Hungary. So let's see how it goes today. I don't have analyzed board yet. I might be trying to get it a little bit later, but let's see the openings, and if there are some interesting openings going on, we can decide what games to follow. So welcome to join this stream. We are streaming tomorrow also. It's very early in the morning, 9:30, that the last round will start, and we have a live stream for that round too. There's also a lot of things happening. In Vierumäki this weekend. There's this friendship match between Finno-Ugric teams, and then there's some kind of blitz competitions, rapid competitions, and problem-solving competitions. So we are celebrating 100 years of independence very, very strongly here. And if you are near Vierumäki and you are not there yet, just start your car and go there immediately. You don't want to miss this. Alright, but let's see. Let's see some games. First board. Finland against Estonia. There's Tommi Luukkonen against Kaido Kulauts. Finland first boards have a very challenging job to play against Estonia's strong first boards. Kaido Kulauts is a strong grandmaster from Estonia, very familiar to Finnish players, playing Finnish league and a lot of Finnish tournaments. Kaido has been playing Heart of Finland tournament in Finland many years, and here we are seeing Kalashnikov Tommy, interesting opening choice. Tommy chooses to play. Probably this is some kind of, I think Tommy is very familiar with these dynamic plays. Black takes a pawn weakness on d6. As you can see, black kind of plays against any rules we have in the opening and plays pawns, plays willingly d6 e5, and d6 pawn is going to maybe be weakness, or it could be usually when you are playing like this d6 e5 and you don't have c7 pawn, it tends to happen that d6 pawn can be weak, but compensation for that for black is some dynamic possibilities, like black can push f7 f5 at some point, and make some good piece play. There are many lines that black is getting some play against white's king also, especially after f7 f5 pushes. b7 b5 is another pawn break to hit against white's c4 pawn, and if c4 pawn has to move, black has maybe in future at some point he can hope to play d5. But yeah, as you can see, black gets all pieces. Knights are coming to game, bishops are coming to game, so that pawn weakness for dynamic play. Then there's two solid guys, Kalle Kiik from Estonia and Toivo Keinänen from Finland. Toivo is Finnish junior player who is FIDE master right now, I guess, and Kalle Kiik very known to Finnish players, Estonian international master chess teacher, chess player, who has played in Finland quite a lot in all these years, and Toivo is going for French defense, which we have seen that a lot. Toivo has played French defense quite a bit, so very familiar, known moves here. White chooses to go for pretty quiet setup, at least I would say. Nothing that much happening, but of course white took isolated d pawn, so there's could be some target for black. If d4 pawn stays where it is, black can hope to exploit it in some end games. There's no pawns to protect that d4 pawn, so it could be weakness. And there's d5 square for possibly for black's knight, although I have to say that knight is not landing on d5 in d5 any moment, at least not so soon, because it needs to go there through f6 or b6, and that's a lot of moves, 3 moves before that can happen. So and white can also have of course white can have some kind of break. Okay, d5 break is not possible at all. Yeah, so I guess we see what happens, but it's very natural for black to try to some pressure on d4 and maybe land a knight on d5, making a good use of that square. And white hopes to get some sort of active piece play, or usually there's some kind of threats against black's king. You can see that there's a good diagonal for white squared bishop on d3. That b1 h7 diagonal is usually something that white hopes to exploit, but we will see later how they have managed to play this position. I think black has very many natural moves. Knight c6, rook d8, you can play these kind of moves, I think. White has to make something from this if he is not willing to play that end game, that the d4 pawn could be a little weak. But let's go to the next game. Here we are only starting this game between Petri Kekki and Eino Vaher. Also, Petri is very solid Finnish. I think from the match Finland against Estonia, and then we have 6 boards from the other friendship match, which is Finno-Ugric Russia against Hungary. And Kaimar and Jari have played a few moves. By the way, times they are playing, they have 1 hour and 30 minutes to play and 30-second increment. So every move they get the extra 30 seconds on their clock, but there's no extra time added after 40 moves or so. So this 1 hour and 30 minutes is very important if you don't play only with that 30-second increment. So you have to keep track on your clock. Okay, white has a bishop pair, and white hopes to get probably some pawns in the center. d4 is maybe coming. Very nice diagonals for bishops. Bishop g2 is taking h1 a8 diagonal, and bishop b2 is taking a1 h8 diagonal. Those 2 bishops are cutting the board very nicely there. Let's see if white can make some good use of those. Black has a little bit less space, but everything seems to be somewhat under control since black has developed very nicely. Knights are on the game, bishop is still on e7, but maybe black is ready to centralize his rooks. For example, rook from f8 to d8 and rook a8 to c8, and black is about ready to take any kind of central advance that white can make. Black is ready to take those. So it seems that it's pretty much balanced. White has space, but black has kind of free development. And then we have more Jyväskylä players. Tommi Franssila playing black from Jyväskylä and Finland, and Tuuli Vahtra. 1 extra pawn white has is on e5, and it's isolated double pawn on e file, so e5 and e2 pawns are isolated. That means they can be weak, and black has a very natural plan to get that e5 pawn back by playing knight from g8 to e7 and from there to g6, and then it threatens just to take back that e5 pawn. Of course, white can play some moves, so it's not that simple. Something like, yes, e3 and bishop b5 maybe, although black can also prevent this bishop b5. This kind of logical way how we ended up in this position. Have to say that I think maybe black got something that he wanted from this gambit line, giving pawn in the opening, since black here has good development. Now black just probably makes a long castle and that's a check, so something like knight d2 or king moves away or something like that, and then black is ready to play that knight g8, e7, g6 maneuver to put some pressure on e5 pawn, taking that pawn back, and after that just piling up some pressure to e3 pawn. That could be one plan. Sounds easy, but it is not. It's not happening so straightforward manner that I am speaking, but we can see these are some easy plans black has, and we see later how white is going to respond to these. And then again, player from Jyväskylä. I have a feeling we have Jyväskylä against Estonia here, not Finland against Estonia, but there's a lot of my clubmates there. We have 8 boards from this match and 3 players from Jyväskylä, so very well represented there. And we have a Sicilian, and this is going to these very known Marozzi-Bind kind of structures where white takes space e4 with e4 and c4, and white, black has a solid kind of structure, and he hopes to get b5 or d5 at some point. They are breaking moves for black, so if you can manage to play b5 or d5, you can attack a bit against white's central pawns and freeing moves. Black's camp is a little crowded there, as you can see, bishop d7, e7, and there's not too much extra space for pieces to move. So either this b5 or d5 is kind of normal things that you want to make as a black to get a little bit more room to breathe. We see how black is going to do that. White has very good control on d5 and b5 with his pawns, and of course with his knights looking at b5 very strongly, and knight c3 looking at the d5 point. So basically what white wants is to keep things as they are, I guess, somewhat, just playing some queen d2, rook f d1, maybe rook a c1 or something like that, and just enjoy more space, and then trying to little by little make use of that extra space that he has and gain some maybe change that space advantage to something more significant advantage. But we will see. That's about what's happening there. Then we have Askold Nassar against Samuristoja. Last board we can see in this matchup. By the way, if you have some kind of comments or feedback, you can join this stream by writing some stuff to live chat also. I'm following it, not like always immediately, but at some point I'm just watching it. So if you have something to commentate or ask, you can do it just by typing to chat. And those who are new to watch this stream, we have Finno-Ugric chess tournament here between Finno-Ugric countries. We are hosting, Finland is hosting this event since we are celebrating 100 years of independence this year. So this is part of that celebration. And there's 25 players from in each team. There's team in Finland, Estonia, Finno-Ugric Russia, and Hungary. So total 100 players are participating in these matches. Let's see. All right. I guess I would love to say that something went wrong with white pieces here, which may be the case, but I'm not so sure yet. But white struggles to get his king away from the center. Short castle is impossible because queen is taking control to f1 square, and long castle is impossible because a2 pawn is hanging. So, and there's a nice half open c file. Black's rook is looking good on c8 square, and black also has pair of those bishops. There's also might be some plans with bishop and bishop d3 coming up, so looks very promising position for some. At least I would be rather pleased to be black in this position, but we see what white makes from this position. Also these bishop f4, e3, c3, d4 stuffs, a kind of Kolla system or London type of structure. White usually wants to play something like a bishop when white has white square bishop after black castles and king goes to g8. White can hope to make some threats against king and h7 square, because that white squared bishop is usually on that b1 h7 diagonal, and he can hope to break center with something like e4 and something like that. Now we don't have e-pawn because it was traded because of c5, and white squared bishop just got traded too, so there's not that much attacking potential in white's army, and white was scared bishop b5 was coming. White did not see that, and a4 was played to prevent it. But what is funny, I think it doesn't prevent it at all, because bishop b5, a takes b4, queen takes a1. is going to give exchange up, so bishop b5 is still a valid possibility for black. Samu can play that one and hope to get that bishop to d3, although bishop b5 white can play knight e5 and bishop is not coming to d3 immediately. So we can see, let's see how this develops here. You never know, but first impression looks like black is okay there. We have also a second match. Let's see that. Zoltan Alexander Potapov against Zoltan Hajnal. This is match between Finnish-Ugric, Russia and Hungary. And here we are just starting this game. Here we are played a little bit more. White has again very nice knight on d5. Black has bishop pair. And we got here by playing Kalashnikov. So it's same opening that Tommi Luukkonen is playing against Kaido Kulauts. Different kind of setup for white, but first opening moves were same as first boards in both matches played the same opening here. d5 square is under white's control, and black, I guess, hopes to make some kind of attack against black's center to get f5 move in, and hopes to get f5, f4 in to gain space on king side and maybe hope to attack against white's king. It's not so easy though, maybe. I think f4 is f5, I mean, is probably really just coming, because if you are just exchanging that, black gets very nice pawn center, and if white is playing something like f5, f4, e takes f4 is opening that long diagonal, bishop g7 looking to a1, though it's not really that easy, since f5, f4, e takes, knight takes f4, threatening this e6 bishop. So black really can't get that a1 rook immediately, and I don't know if it's good or not to exchange this bishop and take the exchange, because this g7 bishop is many times very valuable in these lines. It protects, helping to protect that king, and without it then there's dark squares around the king that tend to be weak. But we see how this goes. Anyway, that's something that black probably wants to do. Black could also dream about some queenside a4, but I think that's not just going to happen, because b4 pawn, there's some pressure against it, but but it's a reasonable chance. So black is not playing in the center, at least there's no any kind of pawn breaks in center, since d5 is absolutely impossible to happen anytime soon. So f5 and a4 are those two things that black can hope to get some counterplay against white's camp. Okay, next game we have Filipenko against Grimm. Looks pretty calm. White has two bishops, black has d6 pawn that can be weak. maybe, or white can hope that he can put some pressure on d6. Yeah, looks white has also some extra space, very open position where I think two bishops could be proven to be better than those two knights and one bishop. So I think white is enjoying a bit of an opening edge still here, although it can all change with these d5 moves. Yeah, it was black's turn, so black can get this freeing move in, so basically getting rid of that d6 pawn and just going to open up the position. Yeah, I guess it's pretty much in balance after that d5. Yeah, and here we have some moves also. A lot of moves made, 17 moves played. About 1 hour has been played, a little bit less. So there's some games that have only something like under 10 moves, but then there's these games that have been played almost like 20 moves, and this is one of those. Black's position, first impression is that it looks pretty okay to, but of course there's no that I have talked about that g7 bishop and it's not here, so it's possible that these dark squares can be weak at some point. White has immediate threat. White played queen f3, so white has immediate threat to play a takes b5, a takes b5, rook takes a8. So after a takes b5, a takes b5 is impossible. So I don't know how black wants to deal with this, but then there's another one like bishop g5 can be pretty awkward pin against black's queen on e7. After, if it would be white's move now, after bishop g5, black has to play king h8, and then there can be some activation of white rooks. We can see that after rook e1, it drives black's queen maybe to some awkward. Let's see those a little bit later. First board game that Kalashnikov Sicilian Finland against Estonia, first board, or Estonia against Finland. Kaido Kulauts from Estonia playing against Tommi Luukkonen from Finland, and some things have happened here. Tommi made some exchange on d5, so d6 pawn is not anymore that much of a weakness since it's not half open d file anymore. White pawn d5. White pawn came from e4 to d5 to block that. And knight went to b4 very nicely. Didn't have to play something like knight b8, knight d7 stuff, but went and traded off with this tactical strike, and now game saw Kaido playing f4, and e takes f4 is probably instant move. Black opened e-file there, but I guess white cannot exploit that e-file too much. There's a I wonder what happens after queen e2 check. What's Tommy's plan? Queen e2 check, king d7 is kind of maybe out of question because bishop f5 check and king c7, queen e7 check. How does that go? Looks like king is marching a little bit, but I don't know if it's any problem. Queen e2 check. Black king can also move to f8 or d8 and threatening to play rook e8. What after whatever white decides to play, but I think here is okay. Taking back to f4, I think that's maybe not white's idea. Black can just trade those dark colored bishops and go to castle, maybe to long side, or if it's possible to, yeah, just I think it's long castle. So maybe white wants to try what happens after queen e2. At least it would come to my mind. Let's see, this is actually pretty interesting game. I see if I can get that. Just a moment. Let's see what happens. Well, nothing really. Okay, I just take it. Alright, we have our chessboard here. Let's try to get some moves there. It was like this. C4, and I guess it went. Yeah, just bishop e7, bishop d3, a6, knight back to c3, and I guess it was just a6. I apologize, I have to make it like this because I couldn't get BGN file, so I have to make these moves myself. Oh, not that one. And not that one either. Bishop e6, bishop d5, takes, takes, and not with that, but this, this, and we are here. Yeah, I was speculating about that if this was something that White did not want to happen. I think that immediate short castle is running a little bit um, dangerously against these sacrifices, because there's really no chance to prevent h7 checkmate. So these kind of things can easily happen if you are not in full alert. So, but you can maybe go to long castle here, like this. Although I must say that White can maybe get a very fast pawn pushes like this, and now c5 coming maybe at some point or immediately, and c5 is about to be opened, and it looks like maybe White could get his pawns rolling against Black's king at somehow, I guess. If you are taking this pawn, it's also pretty much like a lot of risk, since b7 pawn is falling and activating that another rook. But idea with b2, queen takes b2, was that f6 knight is now covered, so there's no these kind of sacrifices because of that one, and maybe Black can just castle. White cannot go too far with his queen because there's back rank checks, and there's rook b8 coming to challenge this rook, and you are kind of like asking, what are you going to do with another rook on b7, another rook on f4? They are little like, looks like they would be better if this rook would be in f1, and there's rook e8, rook e1 threat also coming up, so I'm not really sure if that's a good move, although White can just go ahead and play probably something like this, and now king d7s are just going to fall because b7 pawn falls with check, so there's only king d8 or king f8, and after that, does this look pretty awkward? Maybe it would, but there's a rook e8 again, and after rook e8, if queen moves, there's a little bit annoying check maybe from e1. So double-edged positions that can arise easily with this opening. There's also this queen e2 check that I speculated earlier. At least if you play king d7, I was speculating also this bishop f5 move. Bishop f5 move here. What would happen after that one? It looks like it could maybe work somehow, but of course Black can just play like this and prepare to go to e file, or play like king f8 and coming with another rook. I think this would be make a little bit more sense, since now you can trying to play this h rook to e8, king find some safe place to king through c7, and maybe c7 another rook to d8 and king d8 or something like that. But this never happened. a3 happened and queen c5 was a next move, I guess. This is of course taking away all those e1 checks, so if white wants to take to f4 now, it's totally possible, because now this short castle is again running to this checkmating pattern, and also if a long castle happens like this, then there's this b4 and this c5 push, if not immediately, but anyway, white has gotten his pawns rolling towards black king, and usually that is the case when you have kings on the opposite side of board. You are trying to get those pawns, black is trying to get pawns rolling here to break this protection that these pawns are offering, and white is trying to push these pawns to break this b7 a6 protection, because if these pawns are traded, king is just there and he's all alone, just waiting to get attacked. So white's f4 seems like Kaido had some real idea there. Of course, Grandmaster playing, but I have to say also that after bishop takes f4, black doesn't have to give opportunity for white to, you don't have to trade to that f4, but these are some ideas about some ideas that black probably has in that position, or I mean white, some active attacking ideas. Black on the other hand needs to really find some kind of square for his king, but it's not so clear, at least not so clear to me, where black king finds a safe place, because if you are going to short that king side, I think there's can be little bit problems with that bishop on d3 and that h7 square that can be, maybe white can try to exploit that, and if you go to queen side, then it's easy pawn storm after b4, gaining one extra tempo for queenside pawns to advance. So it doesn't look like a good situation for black either, and staying in center is of course always dangerous. So it remains to be seen what Luukkonen is going to do there. Remains to be seen. Alright, but we have of course other interesting games too. Kalle Geek Toivo Keinänen has developed in a situation where black took control on that d5 square as expected, kind of expected. Put knight, made some use of his light colored bishop and played maneuver bishop d7 to c6, and now maybe black can play bishop d5 knight c6 or bishop d5 knight d7 or something like that. Also immediate knight d7 is not probably out of case if black wants to develop fast, because even if a knight takes c6, b take c6, there's a c5 coming, and d5 is somewhat under pressure. So let's see what happens here. Okay, but rook ac1, it was again white's turn. Oops. So after rook ac1, now knight d7 doesn't look that appealing, since maybe knight takes c6 b takes c6, rook takes c6 is just winning a pawn. But let's see. Black needs to solve this. If black wants to remain in the play, black needs to solve that queenside development problem that he is facing with that b8 knight. So we are seeing if black is solving that, or is it going to happen like when black tries to solve it, white can gain some advantage. For example, if that knight d7, then just knight takes c6, b takes c6 and rook takes c6, gaining a pawn and hoping that d4 is not going to fall. But we will see how Toivo Keinonen with black pieces, how will he react to this problem. Toivo has made some thinking, which is not, at least it's not a super good sign to think that Toivo has spent time. He has 38 minutes left and Kalle Kiik has 77 minutes, so it's a significant time advantage for white player, Estonian white player Kalle Kiik. I don't know if board number 4 Kekki against Vaher is working because it's just been stuck there for a while. Let's move on. We have here Puusep against Järvenpää. Opening we saw white taking pretty nice looking diagonals for his bishops, but black had a easy looking piece play, and I was speculating earlier that probably we are going to see centralization of the, or I said that black is ready to centralize his rooks, and that is what happened. Rooks came c8 and d8. Black is nicely looking centralized pieces, centralized rooks there, and white still has a knight b1. You need to play with your pieces, you know. It's not going to work if they are in the starting position. So I wonder how white has planned his game, but it looks Jari has a little bit promising looking position. Those two bishops that are at b2 and g2, of course they are taking some squares affecting play everywhere on the board since they have a long diagonals, but is it enough to compensate that b1 knight that is now, at least now, completely out of play? Also a1 rook, if you compare those rooks, black rooks are centralized to c8 and d8 squares and white rooks d1, a1. You can clearly see that black has won the battle of rooks, even though battle of bishops went to white side. But yeah, now I think white needs to solve here some problems with that b1 knight, or he is clearly going to suffer, so you need some good moves. And against Keinonen, it was, I think it was really black who needed some good plans here. And Toivo felt pressured to play g6 because of that bishop d3 and that diagonal b1 h7, I guess, but it just weakens your king side. At least that h6 square is there and f6 square is there. Of course, bishop is not hitting also h7, and now you can threat to take on d4, because earlier if you take to d4, bishop h7 check, is like the rook on d4 is discovered check, kind of like d4 was not taking on d4 was not good idea, but now it is a reasonable idea after g6, but it's still weakening a king side a bit. So can white exploit that fact that black weakened his king side, or is black just getting play against white's d4 pawn and is happy with that? We will see. Okay, Francila had a good looking position, at least from the opening, sacrificing a pawn, giving white isolated double e-pawns. Took the check there, and bishop d3 was seen, and now I was speculating knight maneuver, just the knight e7, knight g6, and another rook to center e8 and giving pressure to e5 and maybe taking that away, but Francila decided to try to put some pressure to d3, bishop d3. White did not play knight d2, but bishop d3, and this allowed bishop d3 immediate. King e2 is kind of forced, because otherwise d3 is just going to fall after bishop d3. C takes d4. If king is somewhere else than e2, you can just take that d3 pawn, and now white is facing problem with this straightforward move, knight b4. Since d3 pawn is threatened to be captured, it would seem that rook d1 is nicely protecting that d pawn, but rook c2 is trapping a1 rook, so there's a double threat. Knight is coming either to c2 or d3, so now white really needs to solve that problem, and I don't know how is this going to be solved. It seems like white has to lose the exchange. There's not sorry, no ideas to hit anything c7, I thought, but no. I was thinking something like rook d1, rook c2, rook c1, rook takes a1, and having some play against c7, for example, pushing this pawn just forward to e6 and threatening to take here, but I guess you are just exchange down, because black can prevent those threats very easily. Okay, looking good. Looking good for black. And here, b5, d5 were the two moves that black wants to make, either one of those, and white wanted to kind of remain still and hope to get something out of his extra space. But what we see here is just black going to play d4 by force, playing knight to b4, another knight f6, and black is just rushing through the center and giving him this freeing move, but it doesn't come for free, since there's now, after e5, knight could not go anywhere to put pressure on this e5. A knight had to go to e8, very little bit maybe awkward square to go, and d5, c takes d5 is now in the air. After c takes d5, e takes d5 though, and d pawn is not dropping, and but there's some case with white's f pawn push, because like after c takes d5 or e takes d5, at some point black would like to play bishop e6 maybe, or something like that, but f4 f5 can be just coming, and that's something black needs to counter. It's countered by g6 also, so maybe that's not really that much of a problem. Yeah, black got his freeing move in, and now white needs some real reaction to this move. Otherwise, black is just playing couple of moves, getting his piece on from a knight from e8 back to play, and maybe also hopes to get those bishop to play a little better. And if that all would be happening, it would be just something that black dreams of after that freeing move d5 has been played. So white needs Nivala. Tuomas, this is a real test to Tuomas now. What are you going to do? And Samuriste had a really good looking position when we looked earlier. At least I thought so, that it could be good looking position, since white squared bishop got traded off, and some okay. Oh, here we have some imagination. Never crossed to my mind that king d8 was something black wanted to play. It's, oh my god. Idea is to remain, probably to keep two bishops. After knight comes to e5, you can play bishop e8, which looks a bit funny kind of structure, at least. This is at least you cannot questionize black's imagination here. Like, think about this, king d8. I'm staying in the center and so are you. Maybe it's something like that. I don't know. There probably wasn't anything wrong with something more natural. Just but I don't know. Black's question was how to develop that f8 bishop, but I think bishop e7, knight e5, and castling short. I cannot see if there's any kind of problem, because even if knight takes d7, you just play knight d7, and then white still has some. There's still some question where white king will go, but black chose a little different kind of plan with these, and after queen d3 just b5, but this is just going to, white is just going to castle, and there's a pin. B takes a4 is not available, so black moves away, and now white gave up the exchange, but having some compensation, since at least hoping to have some compensation, since black's king is still in the center. Tricky. Maybe knight b3, intending to play rook a1 and getting a rook on play would be some idea. You can see also there's rook takes f7, queen takes f7 and bishop takes d6 now, which would leave black king in the center, and also that would give white another pawn in compensation of that exchange he made. So white has some possibilities here. I think black has to survive with his king now, some kind of reasonable position there. White has some kind of initiative there after that exchange sacrifice he made. So yeah, knight c6 is not possible because rook after rook takes c6, queen takes c6, f4, bishop is just hanging, so that's no way to play it. Although after knight b3, intending rook a1, rook b8 is not possible because of that rook knight c6 check, and rook has to be on c8 to cover that c6 square. So I guess knight b3 and knight f7 would be first moves to think about in white's position. Very interesting game. And very funny idea to play king d8 and bishop e8. It just looks so awkward, but let's see how someone can handle this one. Yeah. I was still wondering what happens after knight b3, but maybe bishop can just trade e5 knight away and somehow have a solid position, like a queen is coming to d7 to offer the queen trade, and king is trying to find some safe with moves like king e7 and king f8 and running to king side. Maybe but the real question, I think, is still that position after rook knight f7, queen takes f7 and bishop d6. Who is happy there? After all, black has anyway the exchange. If that something like that happens, white sure has two pawns also. Two pawns and bishop for rook. So it's kind of reasonable, but maybe black can get his pieces out a little bit easier. So yeah, but black is if I would be white, I would be thinking that king d8 maneuver was just a little bit too positive or too imaginative, and there would be some way to exploit it, and even if that knight f7, bishop d6, I could still maybe make a little bit of argument if that king is on a correct square or not. One funny idea that I had was also like bishop g3 or something, like covering that bishop, that you can threaten the knight c6 check, and idea was that if bishop g3 or something like knight h4, you can always I think you can try to check from h4 square, and after that just play knight c6. Also bishop g5 comes to mind, threatening a knight c6, and also if bishop takes e5, just d takes e5 and knight is hanging on f6. So there's a lot of I think good looking possibilities for white. Now I need to take a little break, and my computer needs some kind of battery, so we will see you soon, and follow these games. Let's see other interesting games, if there's some kind of good nice things happening with another match too, which is Finno-Ugric Russian against Hungary. But yeah, we will be back. See you soon. Hello, here we are again, back to business. Now I have some battery, computer stays on, and also a little refreshing break made, so we can get back to games. Welcome possible new watchers who are watching this stream. We have here, what is this event? This is we are play this it's been played in Vierumäki, and it's a Finno-Ugric friendship match between 4 countries. So there's Estonia, Hungary, Finland, and then there's a team that is collected from Finno-Ugric regions of Russia, and we are hosting this event in Finland, Vierumäki, since we are celebrating 100 years of independence in Finland this year. So this is part of that event. There's a lot of events this year because of that, and of course we have chess event too. And where we left before I went to a break, it was we were discussing about Samu Ristea's very imaginative play with king d8, moving king to get bishop e8 and remaining with 2 bishops, and it got pretty interesting after these moves, since white sacrificed a change and black's king was still in the center. And I was speculating knight takes f7, queen takes f7, bishop takes d6 here, or bishop g5 possibly, or maybe knight b3, rook to get rook a1 in. But yeah, it's true, knight probably wants to get to f3 and maybe g5 or maybe e5, so maybe that's not so good idea. But knight df3, I think I thought about this too, but king e7 looks like this could go in a way that black is just going to get into a okay position, since rook f7, knight f7 is not anymore possible, because I think can it go knight f7, bishop f4, knight h8, and rook take h8 leaves white 1 piece down, at least so far. And again, now if knight c6, rook takes c6, and queen takes c6, bishop takes f4, so that's not gonna work either. So now black just has a threat to play rook d8 and king f8 and say that, hey, I'm okay, and I'm exchange up. So what you gonna do here? So white needs to make some progress on some threatening moves to prove his exchange to be good. Don't know yet how that happens. Knight g5, I think we have bishop takes e5, and f7 is covered again. I think maybe knight df3. This is the moment you need a good move and a plan how to get some compensation from this exchange, and maybe knight df3 if you don't have any continuation. I'm not sure white has thought about after king e7, but it's clear that black is just playing king e7 after knight df3. So trying to get his king safe and his rook from h8 to play. So I think these plans, with white pieces, you need to think something against those plans, and I think maybe some other plan that threatens knight c6 better would have been needed, like that bishop g5, because king e7 you can play rooks knight c6, and if taking e5 just d takes e5, and now f6 knight is getting killed. So that could have been possible too, but okay. Knight df3 was played, king e7 was played, and white is thinking, what did I do and what should I do now? Let's check another game. Let's go, actually, Luukkonen and Kaido. This was very interesting game. It happened like Kaido played f4 and black king in the center. I did not know where black king is going, but after these moves happened, it was black got away to king side without any f6 sacrifices, since black queen came to help via e3 square. So white managed to exchange those queens, but there was some price to pay, since white rook got to e7. Now we can make some argument if it's doing anything on e7, or is it just black who is having some kind of b5 at some point, maybe some pressure here, but and after this g3, I think Luukkonen has been planning like h takes g3, knight g4 and knight e5. So e5 would be very nice square for this knight. It can go through d7 and e5, but d7 white makes sure that it does not get to d7 square. d7 square, since that rook is holding it. I wonder if Tommy wants to I would really want to put that knight on somewhere better, but there was instant b5 on Tommy's part and trying to spice things up, but I don't know if there was really was there a need for this kind of move. I was just wondering what happens if we are playing just in a calm way, like knight g8, rook, but you are dropping g3 pawn. Yeah, this is weakness now. When rook comes to e3, it can just take the g3 pawn away. So black did not get e5 square for that knight, and now g3 looks like a possible weakness to rook e3, rook g3 maneuver. So anything slow like knight g8 is not going to work. Rook e8 was one idea also that I had, but rook c7 maybe one trade is nothing. I think, I don't know if both rooks are exchanged. My idea was that it takes 3-4 moves for king to take that g3, so there could be some kind of possible chance to upgrade meanwhile, but for black, but I don't know. here after b5, I think I was a little afraid also some rook a7 stuff that is coming to threaten your a pawn, and that might get annoying. But on the other hand, if rook goes to a file, you can always play rook to somewhere else. Okay, but let's see. This went like not this. Now it was like this. Castle, rook e1, and takes, rook e7, rook b8, here, and here, and I guess it was like this and b5, b3. Yeah, king f8 is also being played, and I guess white's king is on g1 too. Yeah, that's the case, and a5 was Tommy's move. Let's actually do like, we are getting to exact position, but it's little. Yeah, I was thinking about this. If you play something like this, and now king, if a king wants to come against that g3 pawn, you can maybe, with black pieces, you can maybe use that time to have some good moves in, like, but what are these good moves? King here, no, you cannot make it that far. Maybe knight. Yeah, you can try to get to f4 maybe. Like this, and now you cannot go that way, and g pawn is also hanging, so maybe this is actually bad threat. So, but you cannot prevent. Bishop e2, knight gets here, and it's very firmly blockaded. If you try something like this, you can, maybe knight has some play there. But this was another plan, but I had a problem with the rook e8, activating the rook here, and now possible you can maybe still go. Now you cannot go for the rook exchange because it's little better version for white here. I mean what we played earlier. It's bishop can counter that knight, but maybe something like this. So if this now we have a checkmate here, so I think it somewhat looks like black could have some game, since this check runs into this. This is impossible because e1 is dropping, so black is getting pawn back from there. So it at least it looks like black has kind of active play, and g3 is not hanging there. So I don't know about that one, but it was b5 that happened and followed by a5. I'm not sure. Maybe this is good. Black has always some g3 pawn is can be pain in white's camp if just black can come to back rank, because there are those checkmates. Although I have to say that if it's not e file that black is coming in and rooks are doubled on e file, white always has rook e1 to prevent possible check on back rank. And if we are thinking Tommy may have burnt some bridges here, since I'm not sure, but after a5 there's a case that rook exchange plan is just working horribly. going horribly wrong, I think, because now it can be that white is just getting dangerous queenside pawns here to go forward all the way to maybe someday to b8, but there's also g3 weakness that is a little bit awkward, like king. It can be some threat that king comes to f3 and drops g3 pawn some point. So these exchange ideas are not so valuable maybe at the moment. I still wondering something like this, but I guess this is just what is going to happen. But now I have bishop g6, knight. Yeah, I'm threatening at least to take that, but after this and this, black can maybe create some pressure here, but this g3 looks like it's almost like gone, because I don't know. Yeah, Tommy is trying to get some counterplay like this, I guess. Yeah, okay, it's still complicated. Yeah, g3 is not immediately dropping because black has some chances on king side. Oh, okay, another plan was like this, to attack against a5, and if rook e1 now, maybe just taking a pawn. So if you are trying rook a8, that's just it can go something like this, and again white has this pawn here. It can go very awkward way, but now d5 can be made. Okay, you have to be, it's a little tricky. You have to be careful that you are not going to give your opponent a free point. So there are some ideas. Black is going to try to push on the queen side, getting open lines for rooks to get into white's position maybe, or at least getting some counterplay, and black is trying to say that you are on e-file, you know what you can be on e-file, because there's nothing for you in e-file. I take queenside play for sure, and it's me who is getting best out of this. So, and that g3 pawn, it looks like going immediately after g3 pawn. It looks like there's some kind of play always, and we have some extra moves. Very nice looking endgame. Kaido goes after g3 pawn with rook e3. I was expecting here again a little different kind of approach. I could say probably what was my move was knight h5 to get to f4, and if it's prevented with rook f3, then we are going to get play in the center. But a4, anyway, going for queenside play. Maybe okay, but rook e8 now is a little question mark, because just trade, and now you have those queenside weaknesses. You have to be careful, Tommy. Rook e3, a4, what you gonna do? You have to move this one. Maybe just rook c7. Ah, yeah. Maybe just something like this. Yeah, very interesting game. I think both have a little bit low on time because they are playing very fast right now, so it can be that. Let's see how that end game. It's very interesting end game. Black is trying to rush his pieces to queenside and say that g3 is not a weakness. You are just wasting time getting to that g3 and that he would that Black would get some kind of counterplay if at some point Black wastes some time to get g3. But Keinan and Geek has grabbed some pawns. So it was a question about how is this queenside going to develop, and it seems it doesn't develop without a cost. So c6 was a pawn that was going, but d4 is takeable. You can take back d4 pawn at least, so it seems pretty Toivo has made some argument here that I survived, and now something like queen d3 taking back the pawn and just going to be 2-1 majority for white on queenside and 4-3 majority for black in kingside. Of course, if all heavy pieces, all rooks and queens, if they are traded, we are left with white has a bishop and black has a knight, and we have pawns both sides of the board, so bishop tends to be a little better piece in that case, but it's a long road, small advantage, and it's a long road to win with that advantage only. But there is some pushing chance maybe for Kalle Geek, who probably is dreaming about, I don't know if he really dreams about, but maybe it would be some position that Kalle would like to be pushing, and seeing if young Keinanen, if he knows what he is doing or not. But I guess Toivo has this all figured out. Playing, taking back the pawn, and let's see if we are get to some endgame or not. Also endgames with rook and bishop, it can be more powerful combination that knight and rook, but you have some while black has some serious counterplay after queen trades. You have to do something with d3 bishop, and then you have back rank, and on the other hand then black rook can go to second line to harass those pawns on queen side. So it's not so clear how white is going to cope with that black's activity here. Okay, interesting endgame too. Couple good endgames. This game is stuck, and then we had Järvenpää game. Järvenpää looked very strong at some point. It was somewhere here that I was wondering what is white going to do with his king side, and Järvenpää took some time and developed into this kind of position where it is nice little tricks. So it's this disorder of white's pieces cost him a little bit, since white is going to lose that b4 bishop. If bishop c3, bishop takes c3, and there's a pin. d1 rook is hanging after d takes c3, so that white bishop on b4 has no squares left to take without being taken. So Jari Järvenpää is getting two pieces for rook here, so it looks very very good, very winning for black, I guess you could even say. There's some kind of challenge. I think if a takes b4, a takes b4, and there's some a pawn that black must stop running, but I would tend to be happy with black pieces since extra material is getting is being taken. There's also c pawn pushes that are very dangerous for white, so Jari is looking good there. Tommi and Tuuli. Tommi sacrificed pawn in the opening and he has gotten it back. Maybe a bit cosmetic. He's not maybe going to get through there. Although h4, king f2, rook h7, king g2, yeah. H takes g3, h takes g3, rook h3. Yeah, let's see if black can make something out for this pressure. I think black tries to play h4 and tries to get himself in position where he can make some pressure on king side, but like doubling rooks on h file and pushing that h pawn and coming into h file. There's after h takes g3, h takes g3, there's rook h3 that you can play. So yeah, black can, maybe this is real, maybe it is not cosmetic at all. Maybe white doesn't have any active plans going on, so it's kind of if black's kingside play is some kind of real, at least black has a very good initiative in this ending, I think. But if it's just illusion that black has some activity there, okay, h4. All right, now just g takes h3. That's a move that's probably for sure coming on board, and then just going after g3 pawn. So maybe, but yeah, black is trying to pressure this one, and white has some pressure against this h pawn, and of course white has a lot of pieces to prevent black from taking that g3 pawn, but there's also g4 square for knight in some cases and this, so if not opening up but staying in a situation like this, black can try to go to e file, like rook e8, check, king f2, rook e7, and now he has knight e4 coming maybe a little later, but at least this c3 knight has to stay there. But I think white can just offer trade of rooks, and white has supported passed pawn, which is pretty good in these endings, so I guess white should not really have anything problems with black rooks coming to e file. So g takes h3 is very interesting. We have so far 3 endgames here. All has a pretty nice things happening. So far Tuomas Nivala takes a point from Elmar Niinepuu, Jyväskylä chess player representing in Finland. It seems that d5 Tuomas had it all planned with knight b5. So even though d5 was played, knight b5 asking what are you going to do, you cannot take on b5, because a takes b5, a takes b5, it's threatening your rook is threatening your queen. A1 threats a5, and of course b5 is threatening c6 knight. So this was kind of forced, and now after trades on d5, but I guess this is not bad position for black, I think. Can it be? There's some kind of mistake later on. Maybe. Yeah. But you are exchanged. Where? Yeah. You took on c3. Okay, so there was. I think there was. Was it necessary to take the? If just e takes d5, and then just for example, maybe bishop e6, g6, or knight c7 also. Yeah, I think. Yeah, now you just gave up material, and Tuomas is saying thank you, and just very straightforward win for Tuomas here. Okay, do not give up material. Maybe that was the lesson of today, or at least lesson in that game. Okay, and then there's let's see if we can see is there something nice going on. Russia, Finnish Finnish Russian against Hungary here. Here, okay, Ivanov has more material. I guess this is just looks like a winning for black. Knight takes d6, queen takes d5, and what you're gonna do with that knight? I think it's just going to drop, because where does it go? It goes to c8, and then it's trapped somehow for sure. There's also double threats, some double threats against. Yeah, this is already over. Filipenko Grim. Different color bishops, one pawn down. Black is one pawn down, but maybe he can survive. Maybe queen exchange, rook b2, then something like bishop d5 covering up that one, and bishop e5, for example, getting some counterplay, I think, towards f2 and keeping these ones at check. So maybe there could be. It's still black needs to defend. Black is not winning this game, at least. It's white who wins if someone, but I think black has decent chances for draw here. Yeah, one-sided game in that sense. Okay, and here this was some interesting game too. I think there was a question after bishop queen f3. It was threatening a takes b5, and now black covered this weakness on f6. I wonder if bishop g5, you have to play king g7 and then just take this a pawn, because now if you do like this, now you give maybe black has some easier time, because black's just removed that pin possibility and got his knight play maybe to better square. So I guess that would have been something to consider, but okay. Rook takes a6, maybe rook b8, and b pawns are dropping. Looks like we have here. There are a lot of endings. There's no brotherhood this time, no draws under 20 moves, and just playing all the end games till the bitter end, it seems. Players have 1.5 hour time and 30-second increment, no extra time after 40 moves or so. So here we have like 23 moves, and white has 16 minutes and black 35. So black has a decent time advantage, which can be important, especially when we don't have extra time added after 40 moves. We have just increment. If you are losing that main time, it's very awkward situation to play with just increment. Mistakes are tend to be made if that's going to happen. Okay, but I guess this is also pretty balanced. Like black has a active looking pieces on e file and control of that e file, and a6 pawn is not dropping without any cost, because if rook takes a6, just rook b8 followed by rook takes b3, and white pawns are terrible at b2 and d3. Actually, it can be that black has a bit better possibilities here, because white pawns are getting easily being pressured. But of course, white has also this queen and a rook. White can pressure black pawns too, especially black pawn on c5. It's not that strong either, so it can be some kind of competition who gets to eat more and more fast. We see activity of pieces is pretty important when you have this kind of heavy piece end game. So if I would be black, I would try to activate that a3 rook somewhere around b2 and harassing those white pawns, trying maybe to get to some trading some heavy pieces and getting some good ending or something like that. Could be dream, I don't know. But yeah, looks to me that black is at least okay, if not better. No, this is not the end game. Okay, we have a... What about this? They have played only 16 moves. There's actually there's it looks like a white's time would be that white wouldn't have any time. I wonder if that's correct, but well, game was just beginning and now it ended. Can it be truly so? That's a sad story if it's like that. That's Russian player who might have thinked too much there. Okay, and very familiar c3 Sicilian from early rounds. We had yesterday, I think we had something like 3 or 4 c3 Sicilians, but this is not going to be okay. It's exchange that black has given, but black has 2 bishops, of course. Some pressure on h8 a1 file. Looks like b2 pawn is almost gone, if not for certain. But black has still something to prove. I think black has some compensation for sacrificing the exchange, since he has a pretty solid pressure on queen side. But yeah, something like this, and if you take to b2, rook b1 and bishop moves, b7 can be weak too, so it's not so clear that black has full compensation for this sacrifice material. Even though 2 bishops can be at some positions that you have that bishop paid can be worth a lot, and it can compensate that exchange, but I'm not really sure if this is one of those cases, since bishop b2 is very straightforward. and after rook b1 you can play bishop c3, queen has to move, and then you would have to do something with that b7 pawn, which would be probably bishop c8 going back. And yeah, there's considerable amount of pressure, counter pressure. If you are taking that b2 pawn, white is just getting pressure on b file, and bishop came to e4. It looks very nicely to c6, b7 to even add even more pressure there. So I accept now rook b1 is a must, and after that I think black wants to play bishop c3 to gain some time to do something with those queenside pawns. But if yeah, hard to evaluate. Those two bishops really can be. It depends how much white gets out of this in queenside. After rook b1, bishop c3, and like queen c2, there's a heavy threat to take b7. And if bishop c8, bishop is just going backwards. It could be said that black is not getting. It's not getting he's not advancing these pawns any immediately. But white's rooks also, they don't have that many squares. But there happened something totally else. It was bishop c6, giving just trading pieces and that up, but rook d1 now. Bishop c3, f6. Maybe rook b1, bishop c3, and now queen c2 is kind of impossible because bishop f5. So after and same is queen d3. Where is this gonna go? This is gonna go probably to somewhere like to d6, but maybe black can have some good bishop pressure after bishop d5, I think. Yeah, those two bishops can be proven to be pretty powerful here. But is it worth a whole exchange? It's a very good question, very good question. There's a bishop and one pawn. Okay, it was like this. It went to this. I didn't think this that much because I thought that maybe just maybe those queenside pawns a6 and c6 are getting a little bit pressured by rook b6 or something, some move like that. White has a move now. White needs a good move that black doesn't have any. The white can deny black's compensations somewhat here, I think. It's very hard position. I think it's hard position for white to make. I think many players would make mistakes in those positions. Little material imbalance. It's not balanced material situation, and with white you have that you are exchange up, but a guy has two bishops. Even if it wouldn't be enough for full compensation, there's a lot of nasty things that you have to avoid on the way to your final goal, that is just to win the game. Very nice move. White using his move that came from bishop f6 to play queen e2, threatening a6 pawn, and after a5 maybe queen a6, making a double threat and just grabbing some more pawns could be reasonable, although you have to remember that this can go forward pretty fast, because queen a6, c5, king takes a5, c4, and now you can just push it to c3, because this bishop is just covering it up. So let's see if black gets counterplay there, but I would think after g6 just taking on g6 after b4, and after this move knight is just gone because king g7, there's rook e7 check, and king cannot anymore protect that knight, and Kaido is activating his rooks very nicely here, and same happens after these moves. Black is just getting trapped with his king. Nice performance by Kaido. I wonder if Tommy's queenside push was a little bit optimistic, and if after that g3 that rook exchange plan would have been good, what I was speculating earlier, but I don't know. At least it was proven here by Kaido that queenside tries of black are just nothing. Just kept wondering what happens after it takes b3. I think probably just rook takes and b pawn cannot take to c4. So if you Kaido played this ending. The last moments were better for white. I think black could have done something better there too. Well, let's see. That was our first ending that came to a conclusion, and here we saw Kalle and Keinanen trade of queens, and Geek managed that back rank, and Rook coming second rank threat with bishop c2 and setting up this kind of position. But Keinanen still, of course, you have to say that you see when I said that when pawns are both sides of boards, knights tend to be little worse pieces than bishops. You can see here how much effort you have to put with your knight that it would get somewhere good square, but it a little bit struggles since it cannot move so freely on that board that bishop can. So this is, I would love to say that this is Geek style of position. Of course, I think pawns are equal, and black only advantage white has is that he can speculate that bishop is better than that knight, but maybe that's many cases that's not enough for a full point. But Kalle is very good playing these positions, solid positional player, and he has made his way into this position where he hopes that he can prove to young Keinanen that he has still some studies to do about endgames. Järvenpää, Puuse, here Järvenpää I was already thinking that Järvenpää has won this game since Järvenpää has 2 minor pieces for rook. He has more material than his opponent, but opponent still struggles and tries to find hard moves to answer. But yeah, I think eventually Black's position should be just one, I think, with that extra material. Although in some cases, if somehow Black loses that A pawn, I don't know if extra A pawns or free A pawn can be a big resource for White. But if E5 is not just not E5 but A5, if it's not dropping this, just knight D3 threatening to take F2, that kind of threats, Black's pieces are just coming to White's camp. But yeah, with knight and bishop, you don't want to give those two rooks chance to activate anywhere near your 7th rank. It can be bad if rooks are powerful pieces if they can work properly. So Jari is trying his best to deny that opportunity for White. I think there's a way, but what is correct way cannot be said. I don't know. We will see if Jari handles that with that time pressure. Tommi Franssila did not get anything from kingside and decided to go to e-file, it seems, but there is no threat so far in e-file. And there's a question of h5 pawn. Is it going to just be weak? Did Tommi just make a favor and messed up kingside, and now White is just enjoying fruit of Black's labor? Maybe. Well, but Black is still somewhat in, everything is under control. White knight cannot really go and activate, because if White knight moves somewhere, there can be some kind of, well, but Black knight cannot activate either, because he has to prevent h5 from dropping. So it actually, yeah, it can be a little difficult for Black. I think, yeah, that e-file play, there's at least not coming for now. So I don't know, what can you do? But of course, those e-file rooks are also preventing White from doing anything too dramatic, because, for example, if rook goes somewhere, let's say d6, and trying to drive away that knight from f6, if something like this happens, I think rook d6 knight, you can just you have something like rook e3 check, and then king f2 is impossible, because this fork and would have to go to g2, little worse position for the king maybe, and then you might be able to move that knight somewhere. No, you're not, because h5 drops. Okay. Is it bad for Black? But yeah, White has to be careful if he wants to advance somehow in this position, and he has or she has only 2 minutes and a half, 2.5 minutes on the clock, so Tommy can maybe pull off something, but it truly seems I cannot see anything wrong with white's position, and black's position I can see that there is a problem with h5 pawn, so I tend to like that for white. Yeah, unless there is something like this, that getting some counterplay. Okay, other games still going on. Samu's game, white decided early on sacrifice the exchange, and white had some kind of he prove that sacrifice did not go in vain, and proving was happening like this, and now we ended here where black is still exchanged up, but of course white has knight and 2 pawns for that rook, and it still looks like white attack is somewhat going on. There's a pressure, f7, e6, those pawns. So black should get his camp activated, or it can be bad. I was thinking about knight takes e6, f takes e6, queen takes d5, threatening rook on a8, and then e6 pawn, but it's far too fancy. After rook a6, it just prevents everything. Nothing good happens. Yeah. Black wants to activate his rook now through a2, and it's a little awkward. White cannot make any kind of protective move for his rook with his rook on e1, like rook e2 falls to back rank mate. So Samu looks like happy man here. Queen f4 is a very good placed queen to prevent anything happening from f7, and also giving some pressure to white's camp, activating those back rank mate ideas, since king cannot go to h2 square. Also, if rook comes to second file and somehow gets this to second file gets open, this f6 queen can pressure here. Looking good for Samu. Looking good for Samu. Leaderboards, Finland has 1 win, Estonia has 1 win. Let's check for the chess results. Okay, this is still continuing. Okay, I was just saying that I decided that black has won the game after this move, but it seems that it wasn't the case. And what is this? Just take here, queen takes, okay, rook takes a5. Okay, so you are trying to get into position where white is saying that if queen takes c4, rook takes a5, and trying to say that black cannot win the position, and also that there's no any kind of check that threatens the rook same time. Which can be correct, of course. I'm counting possible checks like after queen takes c4, but since players played like this, maybe I just say that I guess you are correct, but it still should be, it still should be winning for what black has a queen and running pawn against those knight and rook combination that is trying to get some kind of defensive formation against that. All right. Oh no, so it's just draw. Yeah. Okay, I didn't. Yeah. So your defensive so you are defending like just keeping these here, and even if a pawn is pushed, is it like you are just sacrificing the knight there and rook and these pawns are making fortress? Yeah, okay. So this is not winning. I guess there's no way, yeah. If this rook and two pawns are just enough for draw. So before this setup comes here, if that's true, before that comes, I think the best chance is probably trying to take that knight and then trying to get some trying to upgrade position of your pieces so that you could deny that fortress opportunity, but maybe it's not possible. Wow, I think this was a little surprising result for me. I think even those fortresses, I think when I try to make these fortresses, they are always just going to fall, and there's no any kind of fortress. But well, that was a good fortress, I guess. Nice. I would have also just continued playing because there can be some kind of mistakes. But hey, this is friendship tournament in the spirit of brotherhood, and this maybe brotherhood prize for this round goes to Attila and Sergei. And really that can be just a draw. They probably know what they are doing. Here we have seen what was speculated that would be kind of maybe a little better for black. It seems black is doing good job to give white pressure and having white pieces occupied in a defensive purpose, but here is some lonely queen counterplay with queen e5 and trying to get some checks. Maybe it's possible, but I don't know. It's not repertoire check, because queen e5 you can just play king g8 and there's no queen e8 check, either queen b8 check. So after that queen g8, I don't know what you are going to do. Your d pawn is going to fall, and after that you are really just pawn down, and then d pawn is starting to run. Yeah, queen e5 played and king g8 is for sure black's resource or move here. Maybe actually king g8 Oh, there comes rook a1, yes. And how are you going to deny that rook coming to a8? Do you have to play queen b8? But after queen b8, there looks like there could be some play, because you can play something like queen d5 to threaten again queen a8, and white pieces are just getting activated. If king h7, you can always just play something like some move that threatens this f7 pawn, like queen f7, queen e7, and there's some kind of counterplay for white. So it seems that maybe white can be a little magician and just make some game here to prove that he is not lost. Okay, very interesting. Yeah, I think maybe white can get that. It's at least it seems that of course there's hanging pawns on white side, but black king is alone so far, and it seems that going to 8 rank is going to backfire, because rook can threaten to activate through a1, and also there's a problem with king being on the 7th rank in h7, because you can just threaten like queen f6, and now you are threatening just to take that important f7 pawn with a check, and cannot allow it. Yeah, actually, now that we are going little further also, if king h7, queen f6, question is, how are you going to prevent me for coming to f7? If you are playing, I guess you are playing something like queen b7, yeah, queen b7, but now you can never take to b2 if rook is just, yeah, white should at least be able to hold if he's not getting his rook activated, which I don't believe, because if king h7, queen f6, queen g2, queen b7. Oh, but there is some problem for maybe there's problem for white, because now d3 is hanging also. So, and you cannot really just go like rook e1 to go rook e7, and that reason is because black can just take the d pawn, and if queen is on b7 and black rook gets to the back rank, it's white king is getting mated there. Yeah, let's see if I can get. Yeah, let's see about that. That's pretty nice. You can see what these heavy hitters, rooks and queens, can make happen if you are not careful enough. Okay, I set up position for you guys. Wait a second. Okay, here it is, and black is to move. Side to move black. Okay. Okay. Oh, Okay, now, so if king g8, can you see my board? Yes, you can. If king g8, my point is that after rook a1, this is going to be terrific square, and if now queen b7, there's just with some and counterplay. Queen h8 coming, looking pretty awful, and but this one is queen f6, king. Oh, but no. Yeah, king h7, queen f6. Now there was queen b7, and point being that if you are trying to do something like this, rook a1 and getting to e5, e7, you black can just take here because to checkmate here. So you cannot do that. So queen f6, you have queen b7, but if you play queen e7, now you're denying the possibility of queen b7. Or you can play queen b7, but not without cost, because now at least maybe white can just try to get this pawn, and if b2 is like I think you can just trade, and queen c4, that's just draw with queens on board, and nothing really wrong with that. But this would be one try, but now b4, and this pawn is just very fastly going through to b8 towards b8, so I don't think white has no problems there either. So I guess that should be the case. King h7 happened, and I think most probable would be to set up a draw somehow if black cannot just. I think most straightforward way to. Can you play something like this actually? No, probably not, because there's this, and c pawn is just coming up. Rook cannot participate in king hunt, so I think if you are black and just want to draw, you can do it. This is the most easiest way to do it. Just like this. There's nothing to play. There's nothing to play anymore after those moves. If you are white, you can always dream, but this is not dreamland. This is something else. This is chess, so I think it's nothing. It's just over and a draw. Okay, this is stuck, this game. I don't know if a Russian player lost on time or not, but it seems that there's no upgrades on that game. So let's skip that one, and let's see what are Finnish players going to do. There's no other. There's this game also going on with match against Russia and Hungary. This was the match where black sacrificed the exchange and had 2 bishops for that and 1 pawn. And it seems that white rook got into very nice position, and there's something going on king side. H pawn is threatening to take to g6, since f7 pawn cannot take back. You would have to take with king, and that's dangerous. Just breaking the formation, black's formation on king side. Looks very dangerous. And it is, I think. Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting too. That's also interesting because there's so much material imbalance it's not balanced material situation. So let's set up a second position with that. This one we cleared, and we are trying to claim that white has enough for a draw, and it's just a draw. Let's see if I am correct or if I am not correct. If there is some move. So now I needed to set up this position. Yeah, I think I almost remember it. Wait a second. I'm there very soon. Okay. And it was black's move, yes. Okay, so black to move. If it's white to move, white to move, of course, you are seeing this. Yeah, you are seeing this. Interesting position, exchange down, and white has attack going on. I think, I'm sorry, white is exchange up, and he has attack on king side, which looks pretty strong. But is it so? Let's try to figure this out, how this is going to go. If it's white's turn, if black do just make some, let's make some random move. I don't know even what random move to make. But if you can break white something like this, it looks pretty dangerous. Dangerous here, because their king is little bit, might be little vulnerable. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I don't know, though I don't know what's the best way, but there should be some tries to get to make something bad against that king, if it's possible to break that. And if something like this comes up, like exchange, this exchange is good because it leaves this exchange, it's still exchange up, and white has a rook, black has a bishop, and that one bishop and one pawn, it's not here enough, I think, for compensation, since rook is very well placed on b7, threatening, making some threats to b7, and c6 is hanging and this kind of stuff. So promising play for. Yeah, it's very hard to make any. Let's make a threatening move, but it's just easily refuted. Can you? Yeah. G5 is also one thing I thought about, but it's also a little awkward, because now Queen F5, and if you are trying like to take this away, go away Queen, but it's not going away, it's just giving a check on G6, and now this is just catastrophe when F6 bishop is just falling. So it looks like it was a move to move that H4. There was this was the game and this was the move, but Queen A4, let's see if is there enough game for black against white's knight. Alright, so I guess something like this maybe. I don't know what is white's plan. Let's just make some peaceful moves here. Now you want to go here. Yeah, okay. Can it be a problem? This can be a problem. Now you can just make something like this. Okay, I think white needs to be careful here. not to go into checkmate. Yeah, immediately when queen went to other side of the board, there's actually some play going on king side for black. That when that knight has to move, when knight moves, black surprisingly can have something going on to g2. Yeah. Oh, this game is tough. Maybe queen e1. Is that good? Idea with this and this drops, but this one is possible, and so my idea is somewhat bad because of this. But you can play queen e1 takes, and you can play this one now. There's an annoying pin, and that's why you are going to lose that bishop also, and bishop cannot take because of course, yeah, this actually looks pretty nice when you are looking fast, but there was knight e1 played. What about queen e1? I want to know what happens after this. Maybe if you are trying to take, but these have problem that you can always go like this, and even if you give up that, you can take that. Yeah. And if you are moving queen somewhere, where do you move it? Like here, that you could go like take, and bishop d5. But I think I can go. Can I go like this before? And yeah, and now I'm threatening this bishop. And what are you going to do? If you are doing like this, I'm just probably exchanging queens and playing this knight somewhere like here, and now I'm again exchange up, and I hope that this pawn will not be that strong because I have a pawn too, and I'm again exchange up here. Yeah, okay, I think queen e1 looked like a possible move, but there was now there comes this, and it looks like black's attack got really a little bit more speed. Queen d2, was it like c5 now? Or queen d2, c5, rook d7. Get me the game. So if take here, this is actually a little bit more interesting. You have to take here. Yes, this is actually, I think this is maybe, is it? I think, no, I think I had an idea because queen cannot take, because you can take d7 rook after if queen takes. So you have to take with king, and I thought about something like this, that now if king moves somewhere bad place, maybe there's something on e1, like taking e1, queen takes d7, and if king takes, just play bishop f5 and take the rook. But you can always, of course, you can play g3 there. So there could there be some attacking possibilities. This is totally fantastical fantastical variation. Yeah, and it does not work because of this, I think. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Okay. Okay, rook d7, main point, bishop d4, and it's just what happened. Okay, it was about what happened. Well, black is still a pawn down. Although the pawn will go from a4, so maybe no, it's not going because it checked. Yeah. Okay, white has a very good position there. Yeah. White managed it very well. Gave back the exchange and just one pawn up. Okay, a5 is not possible. All right. What can you do? You have to move the knight. Yeah. Well, maybe white didn't manage it. Since it looks like there's nothing to be done here. I think it's a draw. Because there came another f6 move, I think they are just making a draw out of that. So, being exchanged out, but two bishops proved to be very hard. But I still wonder what was that queen e1 here. Queen e1 here, what is that? Point for Kalle this time, as I was accepting that position is drawn, but of course Kalle is strong grinder in those kind of positions, so I was also, even though I have to say Toivo Keinänen has been played very much also those end games, just winning little by little. And here comes something that I did not accept. Yes, this was my worst case scenario, and it just came true. Okay, I was accepting that black is good here, but only threat was that if that a5 drops, a pawns are rolling and rooks are proven to be stronger. But and you can see that this is just the way the game. If you are playing black, you don't want to game go like this. Rooks are activating there, and there's an extra a pawn that is just running, and your knight, bishop and rook combination, it just cannot do anything. Yeah, that was, I think Jari had a very crucial decision time somewhere. Okay, is it somewhere here that there needs to be a good move? What about taking the d pawn off? Yeah, come on. What if you are changing pair of rooks here? Yeah, this is also very interesting position because it seems that at least I think that Jari's game looked so good and logical, I think. But there was one danger, and it was just that danger that was happened in the game. Those are so rooks getting so strong, and it was here, yeah. Okay, white has that pawn. I just make this over pretty fast because I wanna just see that. And here it's a black to move, yeah, okay. So should you go like this and force the exchange? And this was my idea. And what can you do if you are white? If you are trying, yeah, this is just. If you are going there, I'm just preventing checkmates. And my a pawn is firmly blockaded, and if you are playing something like this and trying to activate to b2, you're never gonna get that one. I play just this, and if you are trying to go there, I just go c4. Yeah, this is just crushing. Oh my god! Wow, that was. I think that was a little. This was probably, unless there's something. I think, can there be some other reason? I don't see. Okay. Well, I guess Black had some good chances there, but no good result at this time. Okay. Let's see some results. I tell you, there's a round 2. Actually, you can see 2. There it is. What's the situation here? It's like there's not been that many updates, but so far what has been updated is that Finno-Ugric Russia against Hungary is in stalemate situation, 3-half and 3-half. Who breaks it? And Finland was leading Estonia very comfortably, 6-9, with, I think, victory is coming somewhere in the middle. Yes, there's Nivala who won, and then there's Pulkkinen, Valkama, Paronen. Estonia had a very strong first boards. I mean, first couple, like first 4 boards are probably, or at least first 3 boards are the best in the tournament. Best 3 players are playing for Estonia. I think highest rated 3 highest rated players are playing for Estonia. So it's a very strong lineup. First board Kaido, second board Tarvo, and third board Kalle Kiik. But then there's some kind of a little bit like we see here, that tables from 8 to something like 15, 16, 17, you can see just ratings. Finland has 2,200 players. All those tables from 8 and to something like from 8 to 14, and they are playing against something like 1,800 opponents, so it's not equal matchup at all. There's a lot of rating difference. So Finland got back lead that Estonia got from first boards. Finland got back in the middle and has moved to comfortable lead. But there was another match, Finno-Ugric Russia against Hungary, and that's a very close match. So far 3.5, and let's see what happens. If we have to, I have to say, if you haven't looked this from the beginning, then you must see this, because Samu Ristoja is now in a good position, but there was a pretty funny move. I was like very surprised. What an imagination. Samu went king d8 here just to get bishop e8, and this ended up white sacrificing exchange, and as the game went on, sacrificing was not a must, but white decided that it was good. But as game went on, it was starting to look like that black is just going to manage this pretty well, and now we have arrived in this position that indeed that is a case. I think black has managed to do very well, and white black is just exchange up right now. If this is not some kind of evil trick, is it this some kind of trick? King takes h5, queen takes h5. Both are okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think Samu is survived with that king d8 testing. Pretty funny move. We have some games that have ended. Finnish-Ugric Russia against Hungary, and there's a draw, 3 draws between this Zonka Ivanov, Filipenko Grim, and Feher Besnosikov. All drawn. This was also, yeah, it ended as we were talking about it. This is I think this is drawn too, because there's 2 f6 moves, but I cannot be sure about that one. Actually, you can see that there's a lot of matches that are just have ended. That's a picture from tournament hall, playing hall, and as you can see, there's not that many matches going on. Also, all live games from match Finnish-Ugric Russia and Hungary have been either played to the end. There's 3 draws, 4 draws, and there's a couple boards that have stopped working, I guess, or then there has been result, but I don't know what that result is. So we have to just check if there's some other game. There's 2 games on Finland side. Samu Ristoja playing against Askold Nassar, which is here, looking good for Samu, being exchange up, quality up, and Tommi Tuuli Vahtra against Tommi Franssila. And this okay, there's some exchange. Pawn, white is left with that f4 passed pawn, and black cannot play anything like c4 because white has a very good control. b2 knight is controlling c4 square very nicely, so there's not any kind of opportunities to break are denied by that knight. Although now I must say that I was a little surprised about knight f1, f5, knight takes g3. I was just thinking about just king taking h pawn and then king g4 and going to queen side, leaving f pawn like it is and going after those queen side pawns. But maybe this is just better. Tuuli has countered something, but now I think, can there be danger that h pawn, like h4 now? h4? Yeah, what if h4, f6, h3, f7, king e7? You can play like that. I think that h pawn is pretty fast. What can you do? It's very straightforward, I think. At least at my line, but of course there can be something wrong with that. let me put it here. Was it like here? Yeah, it was like this. Now it's white. Okay, f5 takes. Or is it like? Well, is it just drawn? What is this? Black plays 9. Ah, yeah, because it's. My idea was something like this, that if this one you can play, just this all about, can you get. Yeah, I think it. So I guess white cannot just go f6, but after knight takes g3, what is white is going to do? White can maybe just, let's take this one here. Yeah, this one looks better, yeah. What about now? If it goes here, now you can play this because you are just running, so king must go somewhere, like if it goes here, it's just tempo up, and now I think there should be some way like this, just threatening to play like, for example, like this, and this, just winning the game, yeah. I think that must be the case. And if maybe somewhere like here, I was thinking about gaining some extra tempo, but maybe just here, and if this knee, we are getting that tempo here, we are just running. If this one, now you can go this one, because you must go here, and I think then just here, knight coming to e6, you cannot deny that. Okay, good play. I think white wins after knight c4. Nice job, Tuuli. Well calculated, I think. Alright. Maybe it actually just f6 works too, if you're just taking tempo just a little bit later. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we have some surprise, but I think white looked pretty strong there. Opening looked I think pretty okay for Tommy, but then I think maybe at somewhere in the ending where Tommy decided to just push in the king side, and maybe it was kind of Trojan gift, and just progressed white's game. At least it ended like white could get pawn rolling in the king side, and you can see that black's majority in queen side just got stuck there. That's not way to play these end games, you know. If you have majority in some part of board, it must be advanced, and it must be advanced like that, like Tuuli did there, that she's got passed pawn. Tom is just stuck on queen side, so that did not work out so well. Okay, we have one result actually. First board, Finno-Ugric Russian against Hungary. It's won by Russia. Potapov wins. High now we don't see the moves, but we see the result. Also, every other, I think there is no games left, but Samu Ristoja. Nassar against Ristoja is still going on. After that, h5, there was a queen came, queen activation, but I think Samu should just be good there, although Samu has to be careful not let white check the king, but I don't think there's any kind of perpetual check either. Can they? No, they can't. I think king can just get away, and Samu is anyway exchange up. Results are so far Finland is leading 12.5 to 7.5. 5 games left, so I could say that Finland has this game in pocket, I think. With that Ristoja game, Ristoja needs only draw and Finland is going to win Viro in this second friendship match with 25 boards. And other game, Finno-Ugric Russia is leading at 12.5 to 9.5. There's 3 games left, so it's also pretty much like Finno-Ugric Russia will win that game. That means tomorrow, last round, we are going to see two-time winners. Finland and Finno-Ugric Russia are playing each other. Both of the teams have won both of their matches, so it's deciding winner of this tournament, who will stay strongest in this 4-nation competition, Finno-Ugric competition. That we will see tomorrow. Okay, I think Samu is here grinding up the point, trying at least very strongly. I'm ending my stream here. The situation is pretty clear, and this is only live board game that is on, and I think it should be, Samu should just make a point of this. If nothing serious happens, it can be white has some drawing chances maybe, but I don't think they shouldn't be any realistic. So thank you for company. Let's see you tomorrow again. I'm here something like 10 o'clock in the morning. Round starts, I think it's 9:30. So our stream is activated a little bit later. Let's just see that I don't speak whatever I like. Yes, it's 9:30. So we are starting stream about 10 o'clock, and stay tuned for, actually when I said that Samu should grind it up, Samu didn't find any way to grind it up. I guess that white's queen is just, yeah, there is some perpetual check, I guess. Well, too fast. I was too fast to claim. Alright, but Samu played draw, so that means Finland wins the match anyway, so... Let's see tomorrow who wins this competition. Have a good Saturday night, and let's see you tomorrow morning. Bye bye.